Hi, good morning. So we've got our lovely farrier, Millsy, here with us this morning. We're keeping our distance because of the social distancing laws with the pandemic. So we're going to start with Galileo. None of the horses have got shoes at the moment. Galileo is very, very, very sensitive. So if we're riding out on non-natural surfaces or doing a lot on sand, tarmac, tracks, stones, anything like that, he just gets so sensitive on his feet that if we're doing a lot of that, he needs shoes. You know, when the feet they're tender on the feet and sore, they tense up, they end up with a bad back, and it's just not very nice. So we like to be as natural as we can, but as a lot of the places we ride is not natural to the horse, it's just a bit about common sense. He's very sensitive. Morisco, for example, has never needed shoes because he's a right tough guy. So let's start taking a look at Galileo.
Right, so as you can see, we've got Galileo here with his hoof. He's a lovely little horse. He's obviously got very good little feet, but as Susan explained, obviously he does get sensitive if he gets overworked without the shoe on. As you can see, he's got a lovely little bit of growth here. He's got a nice bit of toe to take off. The branches are obviously a little bit short, as that is the weakest part of the hoof. So let's start trimming. Obviously, as it is a trim without a shoe on, we won't be taking off as much sole and frog, just to give him a little bit of added protection. Now what we're trying to search for is to have the foot lovely and level, so therefore he isn't going to be putting any more stress on any of his joints and should be a lot more comfortable. So what I'm doing here is looking down the horse's hooves. I'm looking from heel to heel and across the toe to try and find his level coming off of his limb. Obviously every horse is different. Normally you will try and trim the horse's hoof so that it's level to the hoof, but in some cases obviously the horse's limb is not set level and straight, so therefore we will level it to the horse's limb rather than to the foot. Right, so what we're doing here, we're trying to keep the perfect HPA, which is the hoof pastern axis, which is the axis from here down to the toe of the hoof. The better hoof pastern axis that you can keep, the stronger the hoof will be, as if you can imagine a hoof being full of lots of little microscopic straws. Obviously a straw from end to end is a lot stronger when it's straight than what it is when it has a kink in there. Now what we're doing, we're just putting a nice roll onto the horse's hoof to make it easier for him to break over and also stop the edges from chipping and breaking up. Obviously, as you can see, the medial part of the hoof has a lot more hoof wall on there to take off than what the lateral part of the hoof does. Right, so this is Muñeco. He's a little tiny pony. Hasn't got a lot of hoof on there to trim off, but with Muñeco, he always seems to grow a little bit longer hoof on the outside than what he does on the inside. So therefore, the main importance with Muñeco is to keep him level for when he's walking, because obviously the more unlevel that he gets, the more pressure that he has on his limbs, the more pressure that he has on the back. If you could picture yourself walking with the inside of your foot tucked in and the outside raised up, you can imagine how much pressure that will create going through your leg and up into your back. So therefore you can see he has not got one piece of toe there to take off of his hoof. It's literally just his lateral side of his heel is slightly longer than the medial. Right, here we have Biscuit. Biscuit has actually got one of the best, strongest feet that I know of out of all of my clients. We've always done him since he was a youngster. He's always had lovely, strong, level feet, which probably helps to the fact that why his feet are so good at the moment. So as you can see, this is Umi. He hasn't got an awful lot on his hoofs. We're just tidying up his frog more than anything and just bringing his heels back down a little slight bit. Right, this is a typical Andalusian's hoof, as you can see. Very concaved, very long heels on it. Typical Andalusian horse. They are like this to cope with the ground that we deal with over here in Spain. The hard ground, the big rocks. Rather than having a thoroughbred, which is a very flat, very weak hoof, the Andalusians have a lot more upright, cylindrous shape hoof, which is, as I said, a lot better for the terrain out here and coping with the rocks. When I first started doing this horse, it was a very nervous horse before he come to live with Susan, and as you can see over the past few shoeings we've managed to calm him down until he isn't scared anymore of his feet being done, and he is a totally different horse to handle.
Okay, that's us all done for today, and that's it for another 6 to 8 weeks. Thanks, Millsy. We'll be seeing you later.
Okay, guys.
Wild horses couldn't drag me